And today we're going to have a quick look at the Tiger 1 early production model with steel wheels for the group Fehrmann. Now I haven't looked too much into Fehrmann, but as far as I'm aware he was more kind of test crew for the Tigers when they first came out, so it will be interesting to read a bit of history about him. Now this is the 1/35th scale from Takom, which has a metal barrel included. The figure's not included, and there's two types of markings you can use. Now, looking at the artwork, it does look like he has Zimmerit to a point, which it does say that on the box as well, but it looks like it's not all over because it's not on the hull by the looks of it, just purely on the turret. But let's have a look and see what we can find. Okay, let's undo the box. Okay, wrong way around, but we have the instruction manual, which we shall go through a bit later. And I can also feel some actual photo etch, which is the grills for the hull. You've got the decals, some transparent parts, which I guess will be for the periscopes, and then you've got the metal barrel as it mentions, and then also you get some steel or brass. I'm guessing these are for the tow cables. We'll go through the instructions a bit later, I think. Moving on from instructions, looks like you get more cables. Box of, sorry, a sprue of extras, well not extras, kind of ancillary items, the lamps, tow cables, jacks, and the MG34, oh no, MG42 by the looks of it, yeah. Then you have the turret and the hull. Now it looks like you have a choice of two turrets there. You've got one with the Zimmerit on and one without. So it's your choice of what you use. And then for the mantlets that are all Zimmerit, very crisp, nicely sealed sprues. Kits, idler wheels. Now that there is a tool for making the tracks, which I absolutely hated on the last model. The reason is that you actually get very fiddly and very difficult to connect them, but I will go through that in a bit later. Everything looks very detailed. You've got the engine hatches there, they're all very detailed. Yep, mantlets, side skirts, fuel, so you can go, actually it looks like, so you actually do some of the interior as well, because you've got the fuel tanks. The top of the hull. If you just open one of these sprues just to see what it looks like. Again, very crisp packaging, as I said earlier. Easy to open. To one side. Okay, so you actually get the plastic barrel as well if you don't want to go the metal route, by the looks of it. So looking at the details on the mantlets, very good. Can't see much seam. No seam to need filing away by the looks of it. All solid plastic. Very detailed. So even on that barrel there, I can't see much of a seam. There is a little bit of a seam there. You need to kind of very faintly file, but hardly anything at all. So hats off to Takom on that. Yeah, again on that barrel there, if you are using the plastic barrel, again if you see the seam, you can hardly see, there's nothing there. It's very well made, same as that there. A very small, very very hint of a seam where you would need to, which is the moulding seam, which you'd have to file away a little, but it's hardly anything there. Yeah, very solid, very clear, and the Zimri looks quite nice. A few scratches on it, as you'd expect, if it's been worked on. But yeah, very good. I feared. I mean, hats off to Takom again. They have gone into the proper detail, and they are correct in this. But they've actually got the teeth on the Tiger tracks as a kind of an indentation with it. It's kind of a hollow at the bottom, so there's a little space between the actual track and the teeth. And that is right, that is correct, so they've done a really good job on that. The only problem is that I had real problems, because they're so fiddly, on actually putting them on the tracks themselves. That's probably my bad modelling skills, but for a beginner, I wouldn't advise them. I would find a different track, but that's if you're skilled or been modelling for quite a while. I'm guessing it would be no problem for you. The wheels, as you'd expect, outer, inner, middle, handles, stowage box, hatches, all you'd expect to get on the Tiger. And here you go with those dreaded tracks I was on about. So yeah, some of them are already made up to a point, but you still have to put the teeth on there, and that's where I found real difficult, where you have to use a tool, and the tool is basically that little row that I said. You're supposed to put the teeth on them and then cut the top of the teeth off, and they should stick to the tracks. Now I find it very fiddly, very difficult for my first time, and so certainly something I wouldn't recommend if you're not a modeler of any skill. And there's all the dreaded teeth. Again, they are perfect. They're exactly what they should be. But when you cut, as I said earlier, if when you try to stick them onto the track and then unclip, or using your pliers, or what do you call them, tweezers, to cut them, I found that they kept on breaking out of the track, or becoming loose, and it became very fiddly. It can be done, don't get me wrong, but I was probably a bit impatient when I did it. But hopefully you'll have a better job than I did. This is another tool that you get within it, and that's kind of to place the front of the tracks to make the tracks go round with the teeth on, to give you a mould of where they should go, which I think is a very good idea by Takom again. So yeah, as I say, all crisp, all sealed correctly, all nicely. Very detailed model by the looks of it, and bit fiddly in places, not for the beginner, I would guess, but I think it would be a good build. Let's open up the instructions and see what they say. We found a decent opening. Oh yeah, there it is. Let's say, yeah, they're very nicely packaged, as I said earlier. Easy to open. Okay, let's take it out from this side, because I don't want to lose any accessories. So there's the metal barrel, very smooth. Decals, F01407. I'm guessing, if you read up about which one, the history behind these tanks beforehand, you will choose which ones you want. There's your photo etch grills. Not too many photo etch, just the grills, which is kind of standard practice now on most models, but yeah, still nice to have. Tow cable, or you only get the one cable, but obviously it's probably, I'm guessing, for two cables on either side. You just need to cut to size. And then your transparents, as I said earlier, and then it looks like all kind of periscopes or glasses for the commander cupula, and periscopes for the drivers and radio positions, etc. Looking at the instructions, nice bit of history at the front. Tells you about the history of the Tiger itself, And as I kind of mentioned earlier, right on the start of the video, Camp Group of Fehrmann was composed of tank school instructors and their training tanks. So yeah, they were kind of the original trainers for the Tiger. And in his squad, he has 6 Tigers, 5 Panthers, and 2 half-tracks. The Tigers were under the command of Oberleutnant Fehrmann, and the Panthers were led by Major Schultz. On 6th of April 1945, the camper group attempted to break into the Ruhr pocket, but Fehrmann was captured during a counterattack while assaulting US positions on April 11th. So Schultz was left in command. So there's lots of history there if you want to read of that. It's always good reading. The front page and the rear page are glossy, but the pages in between have kind of a paper quality. It doesn't make any difference at all, really. Just that meant if you spill something on it, you just got to be careful. Obviously, it gives you the list of itinerary items that I've already shown you in the sprues. The instructions of what it means by applying the decals, how to apply the decals, how to remove photo etch, etc., and what kind of glue to use. And looks like the starting off is the internal items. It's the fuel tanks and the fans, etc., which are placed into the hull. And then it starts. I mean, doesn't look like, I can't see any torsion bars on this. I thought they might put some torsion bars in here, but maybe put them on a bit later, because you'd normally expect to put torsion bars along there somewhere. Okay, a couple of idler wheels, sprockets, showing how to do that. Okay, so here is the problem I had with the tracks. Again, you got these the track tool, which tells you the shape of how to put the track. You put the tracks, the individual tracks, into this little kind of template that they give to you, which they supply, and then you put the corresponding sprue with a track teeth on it, and you glue them on. Now that's all good, it all works, that's fine, but I would definitely make sure, which is probably where I missed out, is that the glue is totally strong. Use the correct glue for it, make sure it's totally set, and secondly, make sure you've got very sharp pliers or blades to cut the top off the sprue, because obviously you only want the teeth there, not the round bar, which is basically the sprue. So that's where I found that the teeth started to come away from the tracks again, and I had to kind of use pliers or to really put them back in again, and they got really fiddling there, falling apart. But again, that's probably my skill level that's the problem, and not the actual model itself. This page, put the wheels on, the idlers, the sprockets, and it looks like you can put the track on there as well. Yeah, you put the tracks on next, and then you have to bore a few holes, I'm guessing, for some items, which is probably the exhaust covers, etc. Now they're all, as all models are nowadays, they have the numbers corresponding to what you need to put them on to make. It tells you how many you have to make, if there's 2 or 3 of the same. Now the torsion bars, not all the way across, but there are some kind of bars there. Tells you when to put the photo etch on. It's there. Again, all the accessories, the periscopes, the tow cables, cleaning rods, etc. All good. Remember, if you're doing the internal, or if you want to show the internal parts of the of your model, make sure to paint the fuel tanks, etc. in advance, because when you put the grills on, or if you're sticking it down, you don't want to see just plastic fuel tanks underneath, or radiators, whatever's showing. Okay, so that looks like a very good build, very detailed, as I said, and at the end, so very glossy end page, as I said earlier. and then you also get at the end a nice colourful colour scheme to use, and it tells you which decal to use depending on what tiger you want to do. So on this one, for instance, it's not fully painted, just the top half, and is used F01, which is a group of Fehrmann, Germany, spring 1945. And this is using the 407, which is the Schwer Panzer Company Hummel Schwer Abteilung 506, Ardennes, France, 1945. So Battle of the Bulge type thing, I guess. And then that's it. But yeah, it looks like a very detailed model. The tracks I would be aware of. It's definitely challenging, but that was kind of my experience on the previous one I'd done. Very crisp, well packaged, and very well detailed by the looks of it. And hopefully I'm looking forward to making this.